Welcome into Studio B and welcome to your practice today, where we are going to be trying to excavate the certainty within the uncertainty. And I think that as we move through this approximately 30-minute flow-based practice, we can recall that over the last, year to year and a half, we've been navigating all different kinds of certainty, whether they've been professional, global, political, financial, or interpersonal. And so the shape of our suffering, the shape of what that uncertainty looks like, is both collective and unique. And what I would really like for us to ground into today is how these foundational practices of embodied movement and mindful breathing and kind of micro meditations threaded throughout are really these underlying tools that resource us to help us excavate the certainty inside of that uncertainty. So let's actually start in a child's pose for a brief grounding practice. So you can come to the back of your mat, and we're going to come with the inner thighs and knees closer together today, and then fold forward into the child's pose. And we're only going to be here about 3 breaths. And maybe you notice by having the legs closer together that there's a little bit more of a sensation through the low back and that back rim of the pelvis opening up. Let's take one more breath here in this grounding, opening child's pose. Then we're going to move into a little bit of a flow. So lifting the head as you inhale, shift forward to a half plank position, creating a straight diagonal line with the body. And then exhale back into that folded leaf child's. Take that 3 more times, inhaling forward and exhaling back. So very simple movement, linking it to the breath. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. And forward. Tuck your toes, but move back into that child's pose with the added stretch on the soles of the feet. Adding on, inhale forward. Exhale, lift the knees to full plank. Gently lower the knees back down, half plank. Hips to heel, stretching the soles of the feet. 3 more times, inhale. Keep those collarbones broad. Lift the knees, plank. Lowering, navel in, exhaling, hips to heels. 2 more forward, and lift. We're not rushing, we're just moving at a steady, controlled pace. Last time through this, forward, and plank, and down. From here, lift your seat, let the knees lift. Rock back to your first downward facing dog. You might begin to bicycle out the legs, opening up through the hamstrings, letting the heels heavily melt towards your mat. And then see if you can shift into some stillness here. Finding certainty in the 4 points of contact, your 2 hands, your 2 feet, imprinting themselves on the surface of your mat, giving you a stable foundation to create this upside down V shape. And then we'll walk the hands back towards the feet, finding a forward fold at the back of our mat space. Moving into 3 half salutations from here. Bring your fingertips to your shins, lift up tabletop. Exhale, fold in, head heavy. Circle sweep the arms out and up. And bring them in towards the heart center. 2 more half salutations. Inhale, reaching out and up. Exhale, folding over those legs. Inhale, lifting half lift. Exhale, dropping in. Inhale, rooting through the feet to rise up through the spine. Exhale, bringing that energy into the heart center. 1 more half salutation. Inhale, out and up. Exhale, folding over the legs. Inhale, the heart comes forward as the thighs press back. Exhale, dropping in Uttanasana. Inhale, out and up. Exhale, palms together, adding on full salutations. Inhale, arms out and up. Exhale, folding over the legs. Listening up here, walk your hands forward to downward facing dog. And then we'll lower the knees and step the right foot forward in between the hands for our first low lunge. Just one full breath here as we keep the rhythm of the movement going. Step back to downward facing dog. Moving through our vinyasa, shift forward to full plank, remembering you could lower the knees. Come all the way down to the mat. Inhale, lift up cobra. Shift back, downward facing dog. Left foot comes forward, right knee melts down. One breath here. Right foot comes forward, folding in Uttanasana. Arms sweeping out, up and back bend at the top. Palms together. Inhale, stand tall, finding certainty in this consistent, repetitive movement of sun salutations, palms together. Reaching the arms forward, up and back, knowing the body lives only in the present moment, folding over the legs. Stepping that right foot back, right knee down. Option on the inhale to sweep the arms up. Exhale, hands down, downward facing dog. So we're not rushing, but we're moving with a watery, flowy cadence. Plank to the floor. Cobra. Down dog. Right foot forward. Left knee down, option to lift the arms. Step it forward. Fold in. Arms out and up. Palms together. Last round. Inhale, arms forward, up and back. Fold. Left foot back, knee down, maybe arms up. Letting the transitions just seamlessly flow into the poses, down dog. Finding comfort and certainty in this steady, repetitive movement, downward facing. Left foot forward, arms could reach up. Really commit to that forward fold. Don't cheat yourself out of the posture here. Arms out, up and back. Palms together. Closing the eyes, releasing the arms alongside you, taking 3 deep breaths. This first breath, check in with your body. Feeling the soles of the feet rooting into the mat. Second breath, check in with your mind. How are your thoughts? Third breath, check in with your heart. How's your heart rate? Does your heart feel light and open today or a little bit heavy? That's not a judgment, that's just practicing with whatever is here. Moving into a steady standing sequence, we'll hold the poses a little bit longer, drop into a deeper experience. Sweep those arms out and up. Fold over the legs. Step the left foot to the back of the mat. Arms sweep up to the ceiling. You've been here before. This time we're going to spend about 5 to 6 breaths here. First thing I want you to think about, take this right thigh bone, pull it back. Then think of that left shin, pull it forward. Notice how that creates this feeling of lifting and supporting the underside of the body. Keep that. Now drop the pelvis down. And then optional back bend, take the thumb side of the hands, float the arms back, and then think of the sternum lifting diagonally upward. That's it. Yes. One more full breath here. Now, if you moved into the back bend, take that out of the spine. Come into a more shallow lunge. So lift the pelvis, left hand to right knee, right arm drops just parallel to the floor behind you. Now, I want you to think of the navel moving around to the right. And the right shoulder, which you can actually really see on your screen right now, on my body, melting onto the back to deepen, initiate that twist. Chin rotates back and around over the right shoulder. See if you can actually focus your eyes on your right hand. One more breath here. And then slowly bring the head back around, chest around. Inhale, sweep those arms up. Wiggle the right foot, 1 foot's length out to the right. Lower to lizard pose, both hands inside that right foot. You could stay up on the palms or lower to the forearms. Now, sometimes there's a tendency to round in this lizard. I want you to think of lengthening through the upper back and bring your gaze slightly forward and in front of the fingertips. And then hug your right knee towards your right shoulder. So you're hugging in. One more full inhalation here. Soften the face. I want the face to look like we love yoga. And then come up onto the palms of the hands. We're coming to chair pose here. So take the right foot to the middle of your mat. Tuck the left toe. Step your left foot forward. Deep seat here. And then bring the palms together and lift the torso away from the thighs, establishing that Utkatasana. We're going to stay right here because we're cultivating a twist as you take your left hand to your outer right knee, right arm up to the ceiling. You could stay up here nice and high, or you could slide that left arm down the outer right leg until it naturally stops. Broaden the upper chest. Maybe rotate the gaze to the ceiling. And then check in with that breath. And then looking down, unwinding, finding a brief Uttanasana as you lift the seat to the ceiling, and then wiggle the feet out towards the edges of your mat, turning them out at a 45-degree angle, and sit that beautiful pelvis of yours down into Malasana. And then just like we did in the lizard, feel the knees actually hugging in towards the shoulders here. And taking about 3 to 4 more breaths here. And this is an opportunity to think about, what does it mean to find certainty in the uncertainty? For me, that's often just connecting to the body. The body can't be in the past or the present or the future. It can only be right here. So there's certainty in knowing my body is here. In this moment, I am healthy and strong. Plant your palms, step it back to a plank position. You could come straight to down dog or flow through a vinyasa with me, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing, and back to downward facing. Giving yourself just 1 full breath in this downward facing dog. And then we'll move into that sequence on the second side, right foot coming forward, left knee down, reaching those arms up. Beautiful. Except this is going to be the wrong way, which is great. This is just me illustrating my own humanity. So step your hands down, step your right foot back, and then step your left foot forward. Finding that lunge, arms reaching up to the ceiling. Now when we get here, this is that left thigh bone pulling back, right shin moving forward, then we drop the pelvis. And then there's the option to find the back bend of the arms floating back. And there's like a puppet string pulling the heart diagonally forward and up. And then if you took that back bend, start to come out of the back bend, come out of the lunge a little bit, make it slightly more shallow. Right hand to left knee, left arm behind you. And first thing, navel moves to the left. Then I'm going to take my left shoulder, move it onto my back. And then I can rotate my chin to look back and around and really focus my eyes on my left hand. Just noticing how much the legs are working to maintain your balance here. And then start to unwind the head first, then the rest of the torso. Reach the arms up. You might need to widen the left foot a little bit, coming down into that lizard, hands to the mat. Notice the relationship between the knee and the shoulder here. Option to come to the forearms. And another way to think of uncertainty is insecurity. And we have been experiencing so many different kinds of insecurity. recently. There's been financial insecurity, relationship insecurity, political insecurity, social, economic. And so grounding and finding that certainty is saying, in this moment, I'm safe and secure. Coming up onto the palms. Big transition to chair pose. Left foot to the middle of the mat. Right foot comes forward to meet the left. Nice deep seat. Lift the torso up, finding your chair pose. And then now take right hand to left knee, left arm to ceiling. You could stay really high here in a twist, or slide the right arm down until it naturally stops and find that twist. Take a few breaths here. You're doing great. And the last inhale. And then coming back, Uttanasana, forward fold. Wiggle the toes out, finding that Malasana, sitting down. And then you know what we often do from here, crow pose. So if you're someone that likes to find flight, palms could come down. We've already really worked with the shoulders and the knees together. Knees could come onto the back of the armpits. Lean forward, big toes connect, and you find your flight. Thinking heels to butt. And making sure you can still breathe wherever you are. And then coming down, finding a seat on the mat, extending those legs, extending the arms alongside you, finding Dandasana, staff pose. We're going to come into Marichyasana here. So I'm going to actually turn around so that you have a slightly better view of this shape. As we hug the right knee in towards the body, wiggle the right foot out so that you have enough space to take your right hand in between your right foot and your left inner thigh. Left arm comes behind you for a little support. Reach the right arm up. Notice I'm going to lift my pelvis as I come forward. I want my right shoulder in front of my right knee. Internally rotate my right arm. Sweep it around. And then see if you can find the fingertips. Now, if this is too much, you can always use a strap or a tie, a belt at home. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Keep that left leg nice and active and fold. And this is a shape where the breath can get a little bit challenged, particularly the inhale. So I put a little bit more focus on my inhale when I'm in this pose. And then slowly lifting the head, lengthening through the spine. Don't get too excited because we're not releasing the bind quite yet. Start to lean back, point your right foot, and see if you can lift your right foot off the mat. Good. Now I want you to point your left foot, make your left leg like a sharpened pencil, and then activate your core and lift your left leg for 5, 4, think sharpened pencil, 3, you've got this, 2, and lower. Beautifully done. Release the bind if you have it. Ardha Gomukhasana. Take the right knee over the left, right heel towards outer left hip. Now I want to keep the left leg straight because I want to get the iliotibial band stretched today. Left foot nice and flexed. Let's sweep the left arm up, bend the elbow. Right arm out, down and up. Full inhalation here. And fold. And so sometimes I use really simple mantra to help establish a sense of safety and security, a sense of certainty in the body. Something as simple as the body is breathing. Coming on up, spinal twist, release your bind. Left knee or right knee lifts so that right sole of the foot is down. Hug in your right knee. Reach the right arm up, back, and around, spinal twist. Last breath here. And then slowly coming out of that, you could either extend into Dandasana, take a couple of, almost like a micro meditation here for a couple of breaths, or flow through Vinyasa, crossing ankles, planting palms, and moving through a Vinyasa of your choice. And then jumping through or coming from your Dandasana, we'll move to the other side where we bring that left knee in and make sure there's enough space for that left hand to fit between the left foot and right inner thigh, Marichyasana. Right arm is behind you, left arm reaches up. Come forward to get that shoulder in front of the knee. Internally rotate to wrap and bind. And then inhaling here and exhaling to fold in. The body is breathing. The body is here in this present moment. Lifting the head, coming up, keeping the bind, and then seeing if we can start to point those left toes, lift that left foot, sharpen that right leg like a pencil, and then lift it up for 5, 4, much harder than it looks, 3, 2, 1. Lowering it down with control, releasing the bind. Ardha Gomukhasana, half cow face pose, left knee over right. And then we'll reach the right arm up and let it rest between the shoulder blades. Left arm comes behind and up. Again, remember, if you want to take a strap at home, you could always do that. And then looping the heart in front of the knees as we fold forward. And for me, there's a real tendency to let my right leg get lazy here. So I'm flexing that right foot and giving a little bit more attention to the pinky side edge to draw it back. And that's going to really put me in the sensation of my IT band. And one of the gifts of poses like this is that when we're really feeling a sensation in a pose, we really can't be anywhere other than the present moment because the body is forcing us to pay attention to what's happening. Let's start to come up and out. Releasing that bind for spinal twist. Left foot on the mat. Hugging in that left knee. Right arm comes up, back and around. And sometimes relatively simple practices like this one today, not too complicated, can really help us to rediscover that certainty of knowing who we are and what we're capable of. Starting to come out of that spinal twist, and we'll come into a brief Shavasana, extending the legs. Letting the body rest after the work that it's done. And if you might find the mind struggling to rest, you might just say, the body is resting right now. The body deserves rest. I allow myself to rest. Allowing deep and conscious breath to re-enter the body, followed by subtle movement in the fingers and toes. Reaching the arms overhead. And then in your own way, in your own time, coming back up to a seat. Giving ourselves just a minute or so to sit in a meditative silence, just soaking in the benefits of our practice. Knowing that even though we will never be able to change the past and we will never be able to predict the future, that the only thing that is real is this moment. And so just resting in the certainty that you are here, you are breathing, you are healthy, and there is much to be grateful for. Let's bring the palms of the hands together, sealing this practice. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May the entire universe be filled with peace and joy, love and light. And may that light of truth overcome all darkness. Victory to that light. Jai Shri Sakuru Maharaj Ki. Jai.